What is up, everybody? It's Nate, the host of the Kings of CONCACAF podcast, and today we're going to be breaking down the game against Costa Rica last night. Got the dub. Can honestly be really happy with the performance. I know it wasn't perfect, but we got the result, so that's all that matters. So we're gonna break down what I was kind of thinking about pregame. So I actually really like the lineup. It was nearly perfect. Besides Areola, obviously the injury, for Areola made Weah be able to start, which is fantastic. Just because now we had basically our most ideal lineup that we could have had in this window. So that's fantastic. All right. So moving on to the first half, obviously, basically the worst possible start that we could have had in the game. We conceded within 60 seconds, so that's literally the worst thing that could have happened, but we can only go up from there, and seemingly we did. I have that we bounced back well, created chances, kept possession really well. I think that we did a really good job responding to the adversity, and I do think that is something that this team does really well too. They oftentimes don't play very well, and then they ended up, getting results, which ultimately is important because we need points. And So I also thought Weston in the first 10 minutes didn't look great. He did get unlucky a couple times. He was trying to drive the ball forward and kind of just had an unlucky touch and gave the ball up twice in the first, I think it was 8 minutes. So that's something that I know he needs to work on a little bit, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world because he was trying to get the ball forward and it seemed like the ball kind of bounced up on him, and that's kind of what happened. 13th minute, great work by Des, Weah, and Pepe. I remember this play. Des had the ball, passed it to Weah. Des got the ball back, created a chance. Didn't end up scoring, but created a good chance. 14th minute, basically the same thing on the left side with McKinney, Aronson, and Pepe. So 2 chances, and within 2 minutes, it was a great little stretch. 10 from I noted from minute 10 to minute 15. They played exceptionally well, created multiple chances, looked very dangerous. And then minute 26, Dest scores the banger of the window. It was a fantastic goal. I am a very big Dest fan. I like Barcelona. That's my favorite team. So having Dest score like he did, it was fantastic. Honestly, got goosebumps when it went in. Kind of freaking out. But yeah. So I also have noted a little more decisive in the final third. I noted this for the first half, but I think as a whole, the team definitely could have been more decisive in the final third. It wasn't necessarily bad, but a couple times took one touch too many, or was just too slow in general getting the ball into the box, into dangerous areas. So I think being more decisive in the final third is something they're going to have to work on. I'm sure Greg will, kind of go over that in the next window. Maybe he talked about it after the game. I'm not really sure how that works, if they have any tactical meetings after the game, or maybe today. But I'm sure that will be a point that he puts across. So kind of to wrap up the first half, USA got lucky in the 37th minute because they definitely should have conceded a pen. Actually, I shouldn't say definitely, but because I can't remember who it was on Costa Rica, but he did kind of get his feet caught in the grass, but at the same time, Richards definitely did hit him before he got any ball. So I think it would have been a little harsh to give the penalty, but at the same time, I think maybe it should have been given, but I'm not complaining because it could have put us down 2-1. And then also, I think that we did a really good job in the first half to respond after that early mistake. We dominated, and you know, a really good way to, um, you know, handle adversity. So for the second half, Weston McKennie I noted Weston has had a heavy touch. I think that that was kind of the trend for him. I don't think he necessarily had a bad game, but a couple times his touch was a little heavy. If I'm remembering correctly, he came up on the left side and he had Brandon Aronson like basically wide open. He would have been in on goal, took an extra touch or two, and then ended up giving the ball up because his touch was heavy. Um, then in 51st minute, Yunus Musa made a great run, beat like four guys. I remember he was on the right side, turned another like one or two guys, brought it back in the middle, passed it out to the left to I think Anthony Robinson, and then chances created. Yunus is an extremely creative midfielder who can take the ball and push it forward, which is a really good thing, especially when Weston is that type of player, but yesterday he struggled in doing that a little bit, and Eunice kind of came in and was the person that did that for us. So I'm a really big fan of Yunus Musa. This window, I think, has proven to the fan base and hopefully to Greg that he deserves to be in the starting lineup for a very long time. 56th minute, I said, good thing Brian Ruiz is so slow because Miles Robinson basically passed him the ball. And also, thank goodness, Miles Robinson is very fast and can recover really well. That's one of his strong suits, that he can recover. So in the end, it didn't even matter because Miles Robinson did recover. But I will say it could have been bad. So the 37th minute penalty and the 56th minute mistake definitely could have led to two goals. We did get fortunate in that aspect, so but I'm not going to complain. I'm glad that we kind of got out of that unscathed. Tyler Adams is a rock. I've talked about this many times. I've said this now probably in just about every single episode. He does everything that no one else wants to do. He is basically like the American Conte. Like I swear he has 2-3 sets of lungs. I mean, he never gets tired. It's fantastic what he can do for this team. And I think he's arguably the most valuable player for us right now because we have just about no depth in the sixth position. I mean, Kellen Acosta is our number two, our backup six. And he's not great. He's very inconsistent. He has good games and has bad games. So I think Tyler Adams is our most valuable because he is so good and because there's such a drop off when it comes to talent in the backups. I noted again, lacked creativity in the final third. It just needs to be more creative, needs to be more decisive in the final third, but I'm not going to go into that again just because I already talked about it. And then Tim Weah, great goal. Really well worked from Dest. So Dest had a goal and an assist. I mean, obviously, they didn't give it to Tim Weah because of its own goal, but apparently Greg is saying he's going to talk to FIFA and try to get it to be Tim Weah's goal, which it makes sense because it was an own goal, technically speaking, but I think Tim Weah deserves that goal. 68th minute, Zach Seven was very decisive, made a great save-ish. It wasn't a necessary save, but he came up and intercepted a pass/cross and then distributed well and pushed the team into transition and created a chance for us. So that was good. I was happy to see Stefan, take charge of the team in that way. 70th minute, nearly another own goal. One of the Costa Rican defenders basically passed it to the goalie. I mean, obviously it wasn't a back pass or anything like that, but it just kind of hit off the guy's foot and just landed right in the goalkeeper's hands, which was good for them, but it was nearly another own goal. Right after that, I wrote that I have a feeling this might get ugly, which it didn't because I thought the USA was going to score 2-3 more goals because they created maybe 6 chances in the course of 10 minutes. And Costa Rica looked battered and extremely tired. I thought it was going to get ugly. Didn't end up being ugly. But I think we have to take positives from that because we did create a lot of chances. I think we created the most chances this game than we have in a very long time. Obviously, we only got 2 goals, but I thought we did a really good job in that aspect. 76th minute, Eunice cramped up. He ended up coming off from Busio, subbed him off. I don't think it didn't look, that bad. I think he probably just tired. He played 3 games in a row. Obviously, the second game he came off at half, but I'm sure he's just tired. He was running all around, so I'm sure he was tired, and I think he'll be fine. Then Chris Richards, I will note, this is someone that impressed me a lot. I think I saw people criticizing Chris Richards after the game, but I actually thought he played really well. He was someone that wasn't perfect. I'm not going to pretend like he was perfect, but I think that he did really well in distributing and defending. He oftentimes, Miles Robinson would play in that square ball, and instead of just giving it right back to him, he would open up and push the ball upfield, which was great. So I thought Chris Richards was a really good addition to the lineup, and I think that kind of just proved that he deserves to be in every camp from now on. I think he would have been regardless, just because of his work with Hoffenheim and the form that he was in there. I don't know if he necessarily is locked for a starter, just because we have Brooks, and we have Zimmerman, who played pretty well in this window. But I will say, I would not be mad at all if he started, because I really liked how he played. And I think Miles Robinson, Chris Richards back to, or John Brooks, Chris Richards back to. Either one would be great if Chris Richards was a starter. Walker Zimmerman's great, but I do think that Miles Robinson and John Brooks are still better than Walker Zimmerman. 87th minute, very end of the game, just to wrap up. Almost conceded, sorta. The ball bounced around like 5 or 6 times in the box. They ended up calling a foul, but it made me nervous just because no one really commanded the ball out of the box. Finally, Busio came on, looked great. Matthew Hoppe came on, looked really great. He got in dangerous areas and, made it difficult for the defenders. He almost honestly could have scored two times. He had a header that kind of the goalie scuff. The ball went through the goalie's hands, and I'm sure Hoppe didn't expect it to come, but if he was expecting it to come, it would have been basically a tap in. And then Weston and Hoppe had like a 2v1, and Weston didn't make a great pass, and then forced Hoppe to pass the ball to Busio, who got his shot blocked. But those are 2 opportunities where Hoppe could have scored if the ball was better and if he was expecting the ball to go through the goalkeeper's hands. So honestly, really happy with how Hoppe played and how Busio played. They both looked great, and I'm hoping that they can get more opportunities come November, because I think they played well. So just wrap everything up, post-match recap. Definitely not the prettiest game, but we got the results. So that's all that mattered. Hammering the point of being more decisive, more creative in the final third. Dest is a beast. Scored a wonder goal that gave me goosebumps. We grinded out the win, so that's all that matters. I don't care how ugly it was. We got the win, so I'll take it. I was impressed with Richards. I was very impressed with Adams. I was impressed with Anthony. I was impressed with Dest. But honestly, I was honestly impressed with just about everyone. I think Aronson wasn't quite as sharp this game. I think Pepe wasn't quite as sharp this game. And I think Weston wasn't quite as sharp this game. But honestly, it was a pretty good performance by the team. Obviously, the start was bad, but we got the win. 3 points are 3 points no matter how they come. So we got it. huge game against Mexico in November. We're gonna have Gio back. We're gonna have, well, maybe. There's a report that he's gonna be out for another 2 to 3 weeks, but I don't know how reliable that is. Hopefully he's back. He can get some game minutes in that Mexico game, because we definitely could use him. And then I think Pulisic is slotted to be back, and really excited for that game in November. Must win. The winner of that game will go top of the table. Obviously Mexico's already in first. They'll go 6 points ahead of us if they win, and then if we win, we will go in first off of goal differential, because we will have the same amount of points as them. So it's a really big game. Obviously, we don't need that number 1 seed in for the qualifying, because the top 3 teams automatically make it. But I will say it's a bit of bragging rights if we were to get that number 1 spot, because USA Mexico rivalry, it's another dub for us if we're able to get the number 1 seed. So hoping that game goes well, and yeah. So overall, really just happy with how this game went. We got the 3 points, and yeah, on to the next. Thanks so much for listening. I'm your host, Nate, and I will talk to you next time.